What is good, YouTube? It is your boy Anime Double Hunter, and today I will be reviewing chapter 157 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, I do have to say I really enjoyed this chapter. I would like to also give myself a pat on the back, considering I predicted that Yuji and Hakari would burst into Megumi and Kirara on the roof. But I guess anybody could have came up with that prediction. But anyways, I hope everyone's having an awesome day. I hope you all enjoyed the new Jujutsu Kaisen chapter along with all the other chapters that dropped today. Some really good stuff dropped today. One Piece, JJK. And My Hero Horikoshi is in his prime right now. He's writing some really poetic stuff, but we're not here to talk about My Hero. We're here to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen. And man, what a chapter. Before we get into all that fun stuff that went down in this chapter, make sure you hit the subscribe button for more content and also drop a like if you end up enjoying the video. Let me know what you thought about the chapter in the comment section. I'd definitely love to hear some feedback and what you guys think is going to happen in the next upcoming chapters. But yeah, with that being said, let's begin. Not gonna waste any more time. So we immediately pick up things from the end of the last chapter with Megumi restraining Kirara. Megumi says, listen to what we have to say. Kirara asked Megumi, did he really plan this out? There wasn't no way he'd know if he'd pull to the puppy or would the puppy pull to him. Megumi says he gets it now, but at the time he just had to go with it and wing it. He then adds that the ruling, I'm assuming, that one with high curse energy output attracts the other one, right? He then breaks it down to Kirara that at first he was pulled towards Divine Doll, but when he enhanced himself with curse energy to guard against her attack, the outcome was reversed, so he finessed our girl Kirara. In the next panel, Kirara comments on how she can't believe Megumi's her first year and he's so not cute. So we do gotta remember, our first years aren't normal. Like, our trio is definitely tough. They fought against some crazy curse spirits and Megumi's potential has been crazy. So Kirara shouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, a lot of students and higher ups aren't aware that they've been in such difficult situations. So we can't expect them to know what they're capable of. Back to the chapter, Megumi immediately lets go of Kirara and bows. He says to her, please, we're pressed for time, listen to what we have to say. And Kirara says, alright. So obviously Megumi is really serious about saving his sister. He wants to save Sumiki and he's willing to put his pride aside to make sure he gets the best help to save his sister. Now Gege is known for killing characters, but in all honesty, I'm rooting for Megumi to save his sister. I hope he saves her, but you know, that's all going to be up to Gege, considering Gege pulls no punches when it comes to killing characters. It could be a fucking absolute fan favorite. He's going to kill it. Mr. Akatami gives no fucks. In the next panel, we hear a huge bang, and at this point, I'm like, yep, I knew it. We see Yuji get sent flying out the room, and Megumi and Kirara are just watching like, what the fuck is going on? And Panda's like, oh man, I had nothing but bad luck today. Yo, Panda, I love Panda, man. He makes amazing comedic relief. I'm telling you guys. It could be the darkest chapter ever. You put Panda in there, it's gonna lighten up the mood, I promise. In the next panel, we see an irritated Hakari, and it looks like he took off his jacket and his muscles are out, so he's pissed. Yuji, on the other hand, is looking at Hakari with a dead stare and he's bleeding. Our boy isn't looking too good. Yuji says to Megumi and Panda, you stay out of this. And Hakari gets pissed even more. He says to Yuji, you're underestimating me. He then cocks his hand back and slams his fist onto Yuji's face, and Yuji is sent flying. And on top of that, he didn't block, he just took it head on. You got Megumi on the sideline saying, no guard, Kirara can't even watch it. Like, Hakari's doing some real damage. We then turn to Hakari and he's thinking to himself, this brat since earlier. And we don't finish off that thought. So it seems like Yuji is starting to pique our boy's interest. We then turn to Yuji, who stops himself from falling on his back and he immediately gets back up. And Yuji is tough, which is something Hakari is definitely going to understand by the end of the chapter. We then turn to the next panel and Yuji's nose is bleeding like crazy, like a whole rush of blood is coming from his nose. Like, get this man a napkin or tissue or something. Hakari says to Yuji, you're insane. Hakari's thinking, what's good with this guy? He does not intend to dodge anything. We then turn to what Yuji's thinking. This is different from the battle in Shibuya. It's more of a ritual to gain approval from Hakari senpai. I won't dodge anymore and I won't fight back earlier until he, and right before he finishes that thought, Hakari says, interesting, I'll listen to what you have to say for as long as you remain standing, as we see him start to let his curse energy start flowing. So now he's about to hit our boy with a power punch. It's like he's trying to knock Yuji out. I mean, hey, Hakari ain't trying to pull no punches. Kirara calls out Hakari to try and stop. She tells him, these kids want your help. Listen to what they have to say. To which Hakari says, I just said that I will. And Panda's like, then it's fine, I guess. And the panels are so funny with the three, like, it's crazy, man. The way he could just, like, Gege could just balance out, like, comedic relief and, like, make it a serious tone. Crazy. We then jump back to Hakari and Yuji. Hakari says, hey Itadori, why me? This is the first time we've met, is it not? Why did you come to me for help? And Yuji replies, well, because my upperclassmen said you're strong. And Hakari immediately punches Yuji and says to him, that's what I thought, as he sends our boy flying with that punch. And like, as Yuji gets flying, he's thinking to himself, like, what's up with this guy's strikes? Regardless of the force behind each blow, they're painful. I mean, it doesn't look like Hakari's gonna pull any punches, but Yuji's adds that it feels like he's being slugged by a baseball bat with razors. So that's why I'm like, okay, Hakari's packing is something different. Hakari then screams when one sorcerer asks another for help, is basically asking, please risk your life with me, which is quite interesting considering I never really thought of Hakari as a dude to think like that, or at least when it comes to Jujutsu Society, because like his whole ideology when it comes to gambling, I'm like, that's so like a delinquent, you know. But like when it comes to like Jujutsu Society, I never really thought Hakari would like think like that, which is I think it's really interesting. Hakari then adds, you need to convey a fever worthy of making me risk my life right here, right now. But instead of that, you come here because you were told to. What the hell is old Yaga doing? He's supposed to weed out voices like you. So I'm assuming Hakari doesn't know that Yaga is dead and Gojo is sealed, which is crazy, but I mean, he did attempt to cut off ties with Jujutsu higher ups, so that explains it. But I'd love to find out his relationship and dynamic when it comes to Yaga, considering Yaga is probably the only person when it comes to the higher ups, even if you like consider Yaga a higher up, that actually sees the like Jujutsu students as people, like not like tools. So yeah, with that being said, I would love to explore more of Yaga and Hakari's dynamic, and hopefully we do once we get like a backstory of Hakari during the Culling Games. I'm pretty sure we'll get one. But back to the chapter, Yuji says to Hakari, I don't have a fever, and Hakari's like, huh? Yuji says, I'm a cog for sorcerers to continue exercising curses. Hakari then says, hey, are you serious? That's so boring. And Hakari gets ready to hit him with another punch, and Megami's yelling, okay Itadori, that's enough. Because even he realizes like, okay, this is getting a little bit out of control. In the next panel, we then see Hakari hit Yuji with another punch, sending him flying, and like, Yuji almost flew off the fucking roof. Like, this is crazy. And the others are just watching in shock like, bro, is this like really going down? Hakari then says, stings, doesn't it? According to Gojo-san, my cursed energy is rougher than other people. We then see a panel of a knocked out cold Yuji, and that like shot looks absolutely amazing. Hakari then asks himself, did he die? He then says to the others, hey Panda and Sea Urchin, that's what he's calling Megami, get Itadori and get lost. Get the fuck up out of here. Like, enough of this shit. Maybe he didn't say all that, but it sounds similar though. But right in the middle of this, Yuji pops up behind Hakari and says never, and he immediately jumps back. We then see a scary Yuji looking straight down, and man, like the way Gege just draws us so far, cause like it feels like Yuji's giving us vibes of Gon mad at P2, and that Gon did not honestly give a fuck. Like whatever it took to like heal Kite, he was willing to like, yo, he just wanted to make sure Kite was healed. But back to the chapter, Hakari's now starting to get a little bit nervous now. He's thinking, he's taking 3 hits without guarding, and I was smacking him around before that too. He goes on to say to Yuji, what are you made of? Yuji then said, I'm a cog and cogs have a role. My role is to exercise curses, and if your help is needed to do that, I'll follow you everywhere until you give me a yes. Yuji then gets up in Hakari's face and says, Senpai, what's your role? Hakari then looks at Yuji as he thinks, okay. Hakari then thinks, this guy, does the eye of a cog really burn with a fever? Hakari then says, bet, I'll hit you as many times, and right before he could finish that sentence, Kirara says, Kin-chan, aren't you getting heated? Hakari then realizes he is kind of heated and admits he can't lie to his fever. Hakari then tells Megami to come down, we can make a deal. Megami then comments on how he's shocked that they convinced him like that, and he thanks Kirara. Kirara then admits she doesn't like the higher ups, but at the end of the day, Hakari's fever was at its peak when he was helping people at the high school. So Hakari isn't a bad delinquent as we thought of. In the last panel, Hakari knocks Yuji over the head one more time as we see the words, Itadori's fever has moved Hakari. So that's how we end the chapter. We finally got Hakari on the board. Before I end the video, I want to talk about Yuji's ideology when it comes to being a cog. In the end of Shibuya, right before Yuji was about to finish Mahito, he says to Mahito, in the grand scheme of things, he's nothing more than a cog, but he's going to keep killing curses for as long as he can. That's his role in all of this. I honestly think this is really sad that Yuji thinks of himself like this, but in all honesty, this ideology is one of the only things that's keeping him going after seeing the results of Sukuna killing all those people, watching Nanami die right in front of him, Nabaru getting hurt in front of him, Gojo getting sealed. Like, he's in a broken state, he's in a bad mental state. So as I said, that mentality or ideology is one of the few things that are keeping him going, the other being helping Fushiguro. So I'm glad Yuji went so far to get Hakari to comply with them and help them. So W chapter, hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Drop a like if you did, hit the subscribe button for more content. It is your boy, Devil Hunter, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Thanks for watching.